There we go. Yeah. So what I'm looking at also on the swing trading front is to kind of stop doing what I have been doing, which is the more traditional kind of swing trading. Look for tickers that look like they're ready to go and get long, and it'll take a few weeks. It's been okay, but it's been a lot of work, unnecessary work, I find. It's just not 80-20. The simpler way that I think is going to work for me is just focusing on the ES. And since I'm anyways really dialed into it for day trading. So looking at it, but of course with swing trading these futures, then you have that overnight margin thing. So I would likely do it with long dated options. And that makes it very capital efficient, which is anyways how I do swing trading. I'm always doing it with long dated options. So I think there's opportunities there. It's going to be pretty good. You're only looking at long. You're just waiting for a structure to set up, and you don't have to do a lot of work. Again, from my perspective, it would not be much more work than what I'm doing already. Again, 80-20, right? You minimize the effort, as in only focus on what is truly impactful and take full advantage of that rather than, grinding every single day, doing everything. And in the end, you kind of get a little bit out of it, not much. That's how swing trading's been for me. So there's no point. It's not 80-20. I got a life to live. I don't want to sit there and read all kinds of news and stuff all the time. So I'm looking at that. And then, we'll see about the commodities futures trading. That's also an opportunity, I believe. For now, I don't see a whole lot going on. Oh, here, I'll share my screen. We had the fun yesterday with the news. Who was here watching it? You guys managed to watch it, trade it? With the FOMC stuff?
Yeah, I listened to the speech and traded.
All right.
I'm really hoping somebody caught that 245 run. Anyone?
You mean the short? No,
the long after the conference started.
Yeah.
Kind of double bottomed on the, I don't know, 30-minute was more like a reversal off of a level. It was like a reverse off mid-London with volume. I mean, it just insanity.
Yeah, put in big moves.
Catch that?
Yeah, it broke its disastrous little consolidation area chop where a lot of people, I'm sure, blew up. And it's been mostly choppy for the week, or even for 2 weeks, since Thanksgiving, really. And then finally the news got it to move, right? So it's been clean since. So you get that long, good stuff on that. And if you caught the short, cool. And I caught a bit of this long just a few hours ago. So finally looks like it's, might be opportunistic, but we'll see. Anyways, we're coming into Christmas. I'm gonna call today the last trading day for me. Pretty much done. There's no need to continue trading this year, unless I catch something on the phone. Again, I'll do that in a small way. But it's time to back off and reset the mind. Use the holidays as an opportunity to look at things that you can't look at when you're so in tune with it, when you're inside it, and then come back in January and do it bigger, better. That's the whole plan.
I actually tend to trade the FOMC against the market. Every time that I've seen FOMC news is released, it usually jumps or drops massively and then fills a gap and then drops again. Usually there's a seesaw. And every time that I see actually it stretches all the way towards one side, hitting one level, I try to go the other side. It normally works.
Okay. Yeah, that's known as volatility. But if you have a way of reading it and you're saying it works and bounces off a particular level and it reverses, great. There's no wrong way to trade except the way that your losers are bigger than your winners. So if you have a way of reliably doing that on FOMC, great, do it, because you can catch massive moves. Look at this long that happened here yesterday. Brian was talking about. He caught a piece of this for it. Very good. Try and get that. It's good stuff. What we have here. Oh yeah, this is something I was looking at as a way of doing things. I'm not convinced. If you look at this chart here, 30-minute on the MES, it's been in an uptrend just recently. put in an indecision doji with room to the left after a very neat move to the upside. So what you're thinking is when there's indecision, what you want is a decision to be made. So decision made is basically the new low. It makes a new low out of after the indecision. That's your entry area. Stop above it and off you go. Look at the 1 minute and try to get a reverse ABCD or something. I don't have enough of a win rate on this to use it effectively. I've been back testing this on the 15-minute and the 30-minute. And yeah, it wins sometimes. Even when it does win, I don't know, I can't seem to identify the big moves in this. See if you guys want to develop that any further. It's an idea. I think it's very simple. The key points is context. Well, the context is it has to be absolutely directional. So not this choppy stuff and you're looking at this indecision candle and then you know go short there. You wait for it, you identify a firm trend, and then it puts an indecision with room to the left at the indecision candle. You can see it right there. Then the new reversal. Same thing up here. The 30 minutes here, the double that FOMC stuff. This is your massive indecision candle with room to the left. And then when it made the new low, which was what, like an hour later, that's your entry for the short going into a big move down. So it would have worked.
I'm actually in that reversal right now. Now I'm still in the sim on ES, but I base everything off the 30, but I use the 5 minute for execution. And we kind of had that same thing I spoke about yesterday, that 5 minute kind of mountain passy double top, or when volume came back in, there was unable to push towards the new high. So on the break of that area, went short. And as we've been dropping, I'm actually a little bit in front of break even now, just letting it play out.
Nice. Yeah, good work catching that. What did you see on the 5 minute reversal setup or something?
Yeah, I'll show you right here.
Yeah,
if you don't mind.
Yeah, share it. Let's see it. I'm sure everyone here is sick of seeing my screen. I'm gonna stop sharing. Fuck this. You share.
So basically, right here on the 5 minute, I know I blow everybody's mind with this black screen. So we had this nice push. You got some nice volume here on this push. These two nice sized candles. Volume tampers off. We flatten. As we make this pullback, volume decreases, which you want to see for a continued move. But as volume comes back in a bit, now we are pre-market, so not putting a house on it, but we get volume, we can push, but we don't make a nice push back towards the top. Volume sustained, kind of the nothingness right here on the 10 minute. We get this drop, and then I actually go in right on the break of this green dotted line. And like I said, as we made this big candle drop, I just came in above if it makes a new high on the 30 minute. I'm out of it. Targets down here. What I liked about that is, the concept of, the whole, London, to keep things in balance, London sweeps Asia. We haven't done that. London opened in the high. If you look at this chart here, the yellow is Asia's range. London opened in the higher end and we popped through it. So there's not even been a test of the midline, and my target is well above that. So I figured it was pretty reasonable.
Yeah, fair enough, man. What I like is your method is a good example of how it's a checklist. You got to have this, and this in sequence, and then you're allowed to put some risk on. For everyone listening, that is a very, very good way to go, because it'll keep you in line. You got to have your checklist. Otherwise, you just kind of, based on your mood, you go long or short. A lot of people do that, and your mood changes based on whether you woke up on the wrong side of the bed or not, or you lost your last two trades or not. We're very susceptible to that stuff. So what Brian's doing here is just working with a checklist, and he's got to stick with it. That's it. And if you can't stick with it, well, then you got to step away. Don't trade if you know you're just emotionally too unstable to even stick to your own checklist. Then walk away. So that's the way to trade. Just have it there, and in the end, even after you use your checklist, you got to realize you're still going to lose half your trades, probably more. That's very important. That's the part that people really get stuck at. And then they start trying to find a new checklist. And that's a problem. That's when the problem starts, really. So stick to it. And remember, this is not where you show up to a job and then collect a salary, right? You show up and you have a very real possibility of losing money. So different mindset if you want to make it in this business. Good stuff, Ryan. That's the way to do it. And there is no wrong checklist, except again, the one that your losers are big and your winners are small. That's the wrong one. You got to find a method that you believe in, that you can execute, that doesn't fight your personality. Those are the ones that make sense. All right. Yeah. For me to take this short, it would have to be a double top on 30. That would still take a few hours to form if it does that. So I'm not touching this. Doesn't suit my thing. At least the market's begun moving. Anyways, so we have about 20 minutes to the open. I plan to hang out with you guys till about 30 minutes after the open, then I got to get on another call. So what do you want to discuss? Anything on your minds? Any questions, comments, concerns, complaints? Let me know. And for those of you who just joined, I intend for today to be the last day of trading for me this year, at least trading like this. And time to go on vacation. Well, vacation meaning take a break from trading, get my mind off it. If I see a small setup on the phone, I'll take it, but small stuff. I'm not going to go big on this. But that's it. The plan is to step away more than anything else. Come back in January. And then build up momentum again.
Just one thing that I spotted about the Meta. So there was a consolidation around this 645-ish, and then we had a breakout, and now we are in the retest zone. I mean, in case anyone wants to benefit from this.
We don't talk about Meta in this group. This is your final warning.
Meta is not exotic, is it?
No, it's all good. Yeah, if you want, share your screen so we can see what you're talking about exactly. I don't have Meta on my
Okay, let me just share it. Share screen. That's this. Okay.
Yeah, there it is.
So there it is in the 1 hour. I can see that actually there was a consolidation area here, which we had a resistance here, and then again, at the same time we had some consolidation around this area. It broke out, and then dropped down. And I'm hoping that actually goes back up to fill this gap, if I understand this correctly.
Yeah. So there's a couple of things I would think about here. As far as retests of breakouts are concerned, when they break out, the initial breakout, you want to understand that it's a momentum situation, to break out of a significant resistance, and then it goes for a little bit, and then it pulls back and retests, just a pullback. So what I'm really saying is, initially at that breakout, it should go for a little bit, but not a whole lot. It shouldn't have made a massive move already and then come back. At that point, you're looking at reversals, no longer a breakout. I used to use the Fibonacci levels to gauge what is, breakout and what is the move that already happened. So you want to be careful. Over here, it looks like when you're talking about this breakout, it's this big gap up. It looks like a large move already happened. The breakout happened without a retest. And the breakout went and did a good move, strong move. And then it reversed coming down. And now it's right back at this consolidation area where it consolidated some time ago. At this point, I would not call this a retest of a breakout. I would call this a reversal if you're trying to think along around here, which has a different kind of setup than a breakout retest setup. So that's at least the way I would look at it, because it's made a significant move already on the breakout, and then also made a reversal, which is on its own a significant move. And now if you're looking for it to turn around, go again upwards, you're looking at a reversal. Okay. I think. So consider those things. But otherwise, I like what you're saying here. I mean, that's an area where buyers definitely stepped in some time ago. When was that? A couple of days ago, it looks like. So the buyers could still be there. Fair enough. If it opens there, then you might look at an ORB going upwards or something, the opening scalping stuff. That is also valid, I'd say. but you're in the area where you can see where the buyers had taken over previously. And yeah, right where your cursor is now, that resistance,
Yeah.
I would say don't go long anywhere
Yeah, that's
below
the
that.
plan. That's why I actually put out my cursor.
Yeah, that would make a lot more sense. So just to give yourself some safety there, just to be sure those buyers are still there or showing up now. But
Yeah, and
cool,
it's a
man.
nice
Keep
round
an eye on
number,
it.
650.
Ah, there you go. Just be careful with meta options. She'll bite you. You bit me many times. Oof. Be very careful. Meta
Yeah,
is
likewise.
a wild one. Mhm. Right. Good. Good. For those of you who are not aware, we just launched another new what am I saying? A new playlist in our YouTube, which is basically much shorter videos than these longer recordings of these live sessions. So take a look at those if you don't have the time to review these sessions, which are an hour long. Those are more, under 10 minutes long. I'm going to keep putting out useful information out there. Just more bite-sized, easier for people to digest.
I like it, Avi.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It's like you said, it's bite size. It's something you just go back and listen over and over again because there's some nuggets that you're sharing.
Cool, man. Thank you. Thanks for the feedback. And yeah, let me know if there's any other feedback. Anyone got any opinions? Let me know. Happy to keep adjusting so that it benefits everyone. That's what matters. Cool. All right, what am I looking at here? We got the thing went up, thing went down, thing went back up, and it's sitting where it got messy earlier. What would I do with this? Oh, here's an interesting concept. I keep telling you guys about room to the left. Let's zoom out a little bit. Clearly over here before FOMC, it was choppy, no room to the left. Then it, with the FOMC stuff, it started moving, broke out of key. I'm sorry, we don't have my chart up. Sorry. Let me get that. Okay, there we go. You got my chart. So I'm zoomed out pretty well here. Got it before FOMC. It was all choppy in this area. Then the FOMC news came out and it broke out, started moving basically. Broke out of that key resistance. And it's only really up here, I'd say, okay, now there's room to the left because it was really choppy in this whole zone. Went up there and I'd say there's room to the left at the top there because, well, it hasn't been here in a while. Sure enough, it didn't want to stay there, room to the left. It wants to go. Came straight down here, room to the left, right? It hasn't been here in a while. And sure enough, it's moving again. So you can see where the behavior has changed completely compared to what we've had in the last couple of days. And then previously, this was, disastrous. This whole thing was moving upwards, but very hard to predict and to gauge. And now where it's sitting, yeah, there's some room to the left. It's much better than it was yesterday and the day before. You can see all this chop. And look at this now. Just look to the left. You can see it's a different dynamic completely. So what I'm seeing here is also going with the thinking that that I like to use is the market is going to keep doing what it's doing more than anything else. Rather than reversing, it's likely to just continue. And if it's going to reverse, let it prove itself. And that happened down here. See, it came right down, and the reversal happened way down here, right? Then it pushed up and consolidated, then broke out. And I caught that little breakout earlier going up. And I'm out of that one now. What was the target? I think the target was right here. So it got out a little while ago. And so this is what I caught going long from here up to here was not a reversal. This is just a continuation of what it's doing. It went from down to up, consolidated, and continued to look. It's a bit of an ABCD pattern. What we're seeing now is the same thing. It's just in an uptrend, and it's just been consolidating. So I would think about waiting for a pattern on a 30-minute that tells me it's continuing its move up. And if it's going to reverse and go the other way, let's say if that's the top and the reversal has already begun, I don't know if it's truly a reversal right now or not, but maybe. If it truly has, then I'll wait for it to truly move down, then consolidate a reverse ABCD pattern on a 30-minute, then I'll take it down. So that's the way I'm seeing this. So far, it's in a decent place. There is room to the left, so I can entertain it. But that's it. That's all I'm looking at. I've got the MES here, which is a smaller contract, not the ES. I intend to go small anyway, just kind of winding down for the year if I find a setup. And that's it. That's all I've got. Anyone got any news? Anyone know what the news is? Anything on the calendar? I haven't looked at it.
Nothing.
The news is already out, Avi. We had 8:30. We had the unemployment claims. The unemployment claims came a little bit hotter than the forecast.
Okay. Yeah. So that's already. Huh?
Yeah, that's already out, but it seems like the market didn't really care.
Mhm.
Despite yesterday, Fed Powell, he was talking a lot about jobless claims, and they're keeping a close eye on it. But
Okay.
yeah,
Well, they can keep a close eye on it all they want. I'm keeping a close eye on candlesticks. Simple as that.
exactly. I was chatting with a friend of mine earlier today, and we were talking about the same thing. He keeps following up the news. I told him, dude, come on, the news it just do nothing other than keep you biased towards something. It builds up your bias. This is what I realized from trading. Like the results of the news, you'll see it on the candlesticks. If people like the news, they'd buy it. If people don't, they would sell it. Coming with volume, that was exciting news for people. They were waiting for it. No volume, they don't care. So why bother?
That's it. There you go. Speaking like an experienced trader right there. Listen to that, guys. That's perfect.
Tell you something that kind of stood out to me. It was a weird stance, I think, that I'm using as confirmation of my confusion with all the numbers and things. So, was it jobless claims this morning were less than initial jobless claims were higher, but continued was lower, which means people are leaving the workplace, which generally leads to less productivity. But I'm assuming because of AI, there's less people in the workplace, but they're more productive. So the economy is non-inflationary strong. Like it's a unique thing we haven't seen. Normally, if people are leaving the job, productivity slows and it's weak, so they get dovish because of that. But the economy is strong and productive, and he's taking like a slightly dovish tone because there's more productivity.
No, that makes sense. Totally makes sense. On the other side, you got to look at buying power, spending power, people's disposable income. People aren't making income. If there's more people not making income, then well, we're having a credit bubble. People are spending on credit cards, basically, and we know how all that works. So that's one of the dangers in that situation. But also on the other side, if there's no credit, then people don't spend, or if they don't have jobs as well, then spending goes down, everything goes down, right? The economy tanks. So these are some other factors to think about as well. And for those who are really kind of away from what society's norms are, there's people just finding ways to stay home and make their own income, trading or crypto or something or the other. They don't want to look at getting a job ever again. We've had more and more and more of that since COVID. So there's a couple of different dynamics at play these days compared to 10 years ago. So interesting. Yeah. Good things to look at, to pay attention to, especially for long-term investments. These are the sort of things I tend to calculate. Anyways, good stuff. As far as simple day trading is concerned, I don't think it's going to make a big, huge difference. The candlesticks either set up or don't, but bigger term trends, and even not just financial markets, but just trends in society, and then you got to place yourself and your family in this world. Those are then decisions you got to make. So these are things that are always in my mind that I'm always researching and looking at. Fun stuff. Cool. Oh, you want to know something even more fun? There's this whole what do you call popular image of a person sitting on a beach with a laptop and making millions of dollars. You know, simple, right? It's very doable. Everyone can do that. Escape the rat race. The really odd true story about that is I just did that a few hours ago. So I was on my at a beach resort with my kids. They were using the swimming pool and we were using the beach and water slides and burgers and all that fun stuff. And I was looking at NinjaTrader on the phone. I saw the setup and I took it. Here it is. And every indicator I need is in the app. I need a 30-minute candlestick and 1-minute candlesticks. That's it. So I got the long over here. It was a bit of an ABCD on 1 minute, and the target was up there, and that's it. It's all done. No, I did not make $1 million doing this because it was basically more an experimental trade. Excuse me, experimental as in doing it on the phone. So I'm not going big. I'm also doing on the micro contracts, so all small stuff. But it's very encouraging for what is truly possible. Talking about it, escaping the rat race, creating your own existence the way you like it. It's fucking amazing what's available to us right now. It's just that the whole education system has trained us to believe something else, to be basically slaves to the corporate world. I'm trying to prove to myself more and more that I don't need to do that. I can actually sit on a beach and do this.
A Lambo missing in your
Searching.
story.
Lambo, yeah. You want to be brutally honest about that? Lambo is just for those suckers who want to show off on the internet looking for likes and followers, and they want to scam them, selling them some fucking bullshit. There, I said it, and it's recorded. None of these guys really understand a sports car or a race car, even how to use the damn thing, or even how to change gears properly on those sorts of things. Fucking losers. Spending $500,000 on a Lambo. Mostly they're just rentals for an hour just to take a picture. Look at me, I'm a trader. I make money. I got a Lambo. We have those to see. And they'll sell you a $5 course or some bullshit.
It's actually a good idea.
If you want to go scam people, you can go. If any scammers are around me, usually I just cut them out of my life. I don't want to be around that kind of energy. No way. Because really, it's the people in your environment will impact you, whether you know it or not. At a subconscious level, it happens. So be very protective of your environment and the energy that you allow into your world, into your headspace even. So no, whenever I see that sort of stuff, usually it's a block delete button on my phone or internet or whatever. Or in real life, really. I mean, in Dubai, you see a lot of that. So I tend to not wander around in those neighborhoods. On the other hand, I also know people who own 7 or 8 supercars and genuinely own them. They bought them, outright. Now that's a different kind of person. That's a different kind of person who's created that kind of wealth, and usually it's some sort of business empire. That's a totally different mindset. They're not internet scammers. They're usually industrialists and various builders and real estate people in Dubai. We have a lot of that. So things like that. Those people I don't mind being around at all. They know how to generate wealth genuinely. These guys are not flashy on Instagram or anything, but they enjoy all their luxuries and they've earned it. Big difference. Big difference. All right, 1 minute to the open. Get the Lambos out of your fucking heads so you can focus on candlesticks. That's important. If you got a Lambo racing around in your head while you're looking at a candlestick, I promise you, you're going to blow it up. That's going to happen. Here we go. There's a 1 minute chart for entertainment purposes. Where are we? Yeah, we're in a 30-minute chop zone. General trend is upwards. Break upwards. All right, there we go. Just look at that. Oh, yeah. Suzanne, you want a Porsche? Porsches are much more common. They're almost regular cars on the street these days. For as far as I understand these supercars, you can actually use the Porsche as in you enjoy driving it on the street. The handling's good. It's not too powerful. doesn't scare you and is jerky like a little Lambo. The handling and the braking is all well balanced. So that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, Porsches are everywhere. You know, of course, if you got a family, got kids or something, you don't have the luggage space or the rear seat space even. But that makes sense. Oh, shit, I own a truck. I don't even own a car. I don't even commute. I almost never drive. The only reason I own this truck is because I like off-roading. It's just a hobby. Going to the desert. There's a good reason I haven't got a collection of
Literally the
supercars.
only reason to own a Jeep.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, it's not tremendously comfortable. It's not luxurious. It's jumpy and jerky, and every time I inflate the tires, it starts to wobble on the freeway.
Get a Range Rover. I love it. It's so fun. Yeah.
Well, it's perfect. You rip the doors off whenever you want, and then take the roof off and go. And just go. Carefree. I love the carefree
You
thing.
don't want to strip over.
So that makes sense to me. Now, shit. If I had a lifestyle where I needed to drive to office every day or something like that, then I'd get something that's comfortable, that I can enjoy, that has all the luxuries I want within my budget. I don't know. Probably the Bentley GT. Aston Martin has some of those good ones. Kind of, you can drive them every day and they're very comfortable. So then, but I'd only buy it if I can own it outright. I wouldn't go and lease it, because basically at that point you're buying stuff you can't afford. You got to understand how budgets work. Something like that. But yes, Porsches are fun. You can visit to Germany and rent a Porsche for a week and rip around. Have your fun. Do that for a weekend. You can do that whenever you want. There you go. So we have the SPY, or MES, coming down, looking like it's bouncing off. Basically, thinking only as a long on a 30-minute chart. It's doing that now. Found the buyers down there so far. And let's see if they continue pushing up. That's all I'm looking at. Again, I'm not too fussed about trading. If I find something, I'll put on a small size and see what happens. It's more about winding down for Christmas. Oh, this is ES. Oops, keep hitting the wrong buttons there. Be careful what I click on here. There we go. MES. Anyone see anything, let me know. If anyone, you want to share your screen and have me look at it, please feel free to do so and we can look at it together. I'm sure there's other stuff out there beyond futures contracts, right?
We talked about RTY a couple of days ago, but it's about to break all-time high.
RGI, is it?
RTY.
RTY, okay. What's that one all about? Crypto, AI?
No, that's
other
the
family?
Russell 2000.
All right, cool. Thanks. All righty. Yeah. Feel free to share the screen if you want to and show us what you see. So again, here's the reversal strategy I had in mind that I'm still sort of exploring, not acting on it, but this thing went up, put an indecision, room to the left, and you low as your entry, and still be in it. Maybe stop out of break even on this white candle, but in this strategy, your stop is above the indecision, so you still be in it going down. But man, it's a tough one. That's why I don't use it. I'm still, if anything, interested in the long because it's been going up. This looks like an ABCD pattern in the works right here on the 30-minute chart. There you go. Super choppy right now. Higher lows for now. Again, it's only a few minutes. It's still the open. It's still holding below the opening price. Sellers are firmly at the opening price, it looks like. Something to think about. You want the buyers to overwhelm those sellers before you think about longs. Oh, look at that news. U.S. trade deficit unexpectedly narrows in December. All right. Still have $1 trillion debt, right? Hardly. Man, news is something else, isn't it? Are we finding buyers stepping up? This is interesting price action. Overall, it's not an area to put on any risk in any direction, but to be able to observe it is really important. To be able to read it is important. Let's zoom in a little. So the opening price, we know there's sellers there. It's been rejecting there, but at the bottom here, you have the buyers stepping up, higher lows, right? Which is so far confirming my longer term or bigger time frame perspective. It's more likely a long than a short. So you're looking for these little bits and pieces of information. And sometimes they take hours to accumulate before you can have conviction to get into it. And then you still stop out. And that's perfectly normal. There we go. Buyers seem aggressive there, right at the opening price. Let's see if they're able to go. There you go. Broke out that big seller. You saw that? You saw that break happen? Pretty fast and aggressive. You could anticipate it almost. Almost. Now we have the high of day, which is the wick on the first candle. Let's see if it gets there. We're looking to break that. So this is essentially that big old 5-minute ORB setup fallen angel thing that I always like to look at when I'm scalping, which I don't do anymore. What was the close yesterday? Oh, yeah. No, it's not fallen angel because it didn't close up. Anyways, drop and then push up and break out. That's the idea. Look at it. Here it is. Let's get up to the opening price. We have overhead resistance pre-market stuff. Get a good setup. So far, the setup is interesting, as in the buyers really stepped up down here. You can see these higher lows and then reclaim the opening price. At the moment, shopping around it. And ideally, it gets up to the high of day, which is only a few cents above, it looks like, and see how it behaves. This is a good spot for a consolidation, really, above the opening price and below the high. Given if you get a nice tight consolidation, a few dojis or something, then you have a good opportunity for a breakout. Also, another little clue, look at that. These buyers are stepping up even up here. You see these wicks so far, higher wicks. You want to see that continue. This candle hasn't closed, but let's see. That's the kind of stuff I look at in candlesticks. Especially on a 1 minute when I'm looking to get a good entry. This is how I tend to read them. There we go, getting to the high. Are we going? Are we going? Let's put the cursor right there. You can see the line. That's the high. High day. There we go. Printed higher. There you go. Plenty of buyers in that. Off you go. Breakout. Fun, huh? Wait for the retest if you didn't already get into this. When I was scalping, I would have probably entered this a minute ago, or as it claimed the opening price, perhaps. I don't know, somewhere at some point. I've done all kinds of entries, but anyways, there you go. Looks like fun. Now, overhead, we know we have resistance. This is the whole pre-market area. It's up there right now, so expect resistance, which is good. It'll set up to come down and retest, ideally, retest the opening high. And you get that entry. Fun stuff. 30-minute chart. That's going nowhere right now. I'd wait for a 30-minute candle to close bullish. I'd like to have a big long tail hammer or breakout retest that would be above here. So the way I trade nowadays, still no entry. But for you scalpers, you would have already made a day out of it. There we go. We're finally getting price action to look at. That's worth looking at, right? We haven't had this in 2 weeks, I think. You can see the resistance overhead, the pre-market high. The sellers over there pretty firm for now, even putting in lower highs. So an area you don't want to be playing with it, right? That's why on my 30-minute setup, And it has to truly break there. That's the pre-market high. I can show it to you. That's it right there, approximately. I think it's this candle. And then break out of that. That's when the fun starts. That's when you get set up for a good move, I'd suggest. All right, so we're losing it. Where is it? Yeah, testing that opening price zone at the moment. You can see, right? It's pretty obvious battle between buyers and sellers. The buyers are here. Seems like they want to hold the opening price approximately, and the sellers are up here, the pre-market resistance areas. Right about there. So this is a no-go zone on a 1 minute chart. Absolutely no-go. Just wait for it.
So in the case of scalping, where would be the stop? So,
Stop as you pull the plug and walk away, huh? Shit.
I mean, if we were to end at the breakup high of the day, like 3 minutes ago.
Yeah. So scalping, this sort of thing, you would enter at a breakout here, and I would likely put my stop below the entry candle. And then once this thing started moving, I start hitting the partial button, 5 or 10% at a time, and immediately I'd bring my stop in to pretty much break even. So the whole thing would be done in 20 seconds or something. And you'd get a tiny little profit out of it.
Thank you.
The scalping is, you got to understand, it's what you're really trying to do with this kind of scalping is put on massive size and capture tiny moves. But you know, you have massive size. You cannot afford for this thing to go against you even just a little bit. And if it just pops in your favor, you got to start hitting that partial button to de-risk the size, which more than taking profits, you're looking at de-risk the size. That's very important. So scalping is it's not a formula I tend to like it. I've done it and I can do it. Again, there's easier ways to make money, and this is scalping is one of the easy ways to lose money.
Thank you.
So, yeah. Cool. All right. So these sellers look like they're in charge. You see these lower highs? See that? There you go. Now we got right in. Right before it got those, telling you guys. Lower highs. These are the clues, man. Lower highs firmly in these last 4 minutes. And you can see how low they pushed it in, right into the middle of the opening range. Ooh. So those buyers that were down there and they were overhead, they ran into firm resistance. Again, big no-go zone right now. Let's see where these buyers are now. They're pushing it again. Buyers came in right in the middle of the opening range. Right there, so far. Let's see how far they go. You can see every candle is telling you a story. The buyers got it, the sellers got it, the buyers got it, the sellers got it. It's like a football game. Offense, defense, right? Actually, it's more like rugby. And rugby is a lot more fun, man. There's no armor or nothing. The game doesn't stop. You get tackled, you got to let go of the ball. The game doesn't stop and you get a first down or whatever. No. Rugby is a lot of fun. Just tend to bump your head a lot. It hurts. But there you go. This is rugby. Look at this. You try to go long and short and long and short. Tell me how many times you bump your head on these candlesticks, huh? It's all here. All right. So buyers were down here, pushed it here, and still not able to make another high. Not even able to get up to the top where these sellers were. So far, sellers are still in the game, I'd say. Don't go long, basically.
Go ahead. Microsoft is moving nicely, and it's actually at the base of a channel in 1 hour chart, and now it's moving up. Looks to be pretty nice now.
Cool. Take a look, guys. Microsoft. Fun. That was another ticker that when I used to trade it with options, it was really squirrely because the liquidity wasn't quite there with the options. But also when you trade that stock, you got to make sure it's got a real catalyst to make it move. Otherwise, it don't really want to go anywhere. Similar to Apple. Apple and Meta. Microsoft's probably much slower moving than those in my memory. But hey, if it sets up and wants to go, that's great. Now here come the buyers. Now look at that. They just made a penny higher, just a cent. Still, you know that there's firm resistance overhead. Now that we have, what, 10, 15 minutes of action, look at this. The buyer's side, you have these higher lows. On the seller side, you have lower highs, but the buyers are obviously more powerful in the bigger picture of all this, which aligns nicely with the 30-minute picture I've got in mind. See, it's bullish, consolidation, and continue ABCD pattern. So the stars are aligning slowly. And when they align, you go long, you put your stop in place and go sit in the hot tub. Best thing you can do. Where's Atta? She's got to come tell us that story. It's not in here today. Oh, there you go. You see those sellers? That's what I'm saying. No goes on. There you go. Go play rugby. Bump your head. Boom. Here we go down again. This candle is very telling because look, it came straight down so fast to where the most recent big sellers were, and they're still there. So far, if you're reading the tape, you can get the same information. I just like candles; they're easier to read. Yeah, still there, but man, these sellers, you can see that, man. Oof. So still no go, absolutely no go. Now you see why I tell you guys only amateurs trade the open. You guys love bumping your heads, love losing money, blowing up accounts, and then giving me a call. Avi, I don't know what to do. Fuck, I told you don't do it. It's the story of my life.
I like
man.
the Avi method of setting on a trade and going to soak, going to the beach.
Yeah. I was even on the beach today when I put it on, and then I threw the phone in the bag and jumped in the sea.
Your brave soul
Perfect.
trading from your phone. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's good fun. The thing is, my trading style has evolved to a point where the only indicators I need are candlesticks, like you see on my screen here. I certainly don't need any high-powered PC or fancy screen or anything like that. And just candlesticks, really, and I can watch them move just as fast on the phone as I can right here. No big deal. So, yeah, it works. It works. Look at that. The sellers are firmly taking over now. Total change of behavior, right? Where they took over from these massive buyers that were right in the middle, printed lower, lower low. You can see the highs getting lower. This is a messy. So this is going now contrary to the bigger picture that I've got in mind, which is all bullish. So what would I do when I have a contradiction? Don't touch it. Again, go to have a soak. You know, don't touch it without putting the trade on. Go to the hot tub. Now, there's a little one I'll tell you guys since Eva was asking, talking about it. Was we were in when we did the trading trip, not trip, whatever. We were all in Colombia, and I was doing options at the time. I put on 4 different contracts on all these Mag 7 tickers. They total about 700 options contracts. I put it on and went into the hot tub with Paras and a few others, and we opened a bottle of rum. And that was it. Just let it go. Either hits the stop or it goes to the profits. I don't even know what happened. The bottle of rum went so fast. I don't even know what happened. Whose money did it? I don't know. So there you go. Easy way to trade. Much easier than putting it on and then watching these candlesticks and bumping your head all the time. I really like to detach. It's so fun. You know, you can go live a life. You don't have to stress out and then have anxiety problems and nothing. It's great. And not doing options allows that, because options, you got to watch them. The 0 DT options, you got to watch them. Futures makes it easier, much easier. So there you go. So anyways, that's my direction. I'm going to trade from my phone more and more and more from some sailboat or something. We'll figure it out. There you go. Sellers again. Look at these.
Wow. Big sell-off on the SPY. I'm kind of interested in shorting Tesla via TSLQ. So I'm going to let it kind of break out and retest, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But that's about it. I don't see anything else on my end that looks juicy.
That's perfect. That means you're doing it right, where there's not too many setups. That means your trade book is nice and tight, or your checklist is nice and tight. Keeps you out of trouble. Good stuff.
Yeah, I'm still looking at, I also look at Rigetti and NVIDIA and Palantir, but I trade all the leverage products. So If I want to short Rigetti, I look at RGTZ, or NVIDIA, I look at NVD, or Palantir, PLTZ, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, nothing yet. I'm just going to kind of let it ride, and that's why I like looking at the 5-minute chart. And I don't jump into a trade too quickly anymore. The 1-minute chart is just madness.
There you go. Again, good. We got another good experienced trader in the room. Lost enough money to learn his lessons. There you go, guys. A good example. Thanks, Evo. Thanks for sharing.
I just partialed low of London session. So I had a quick first trade. Obviously, it was taken out pretty quickly. And then as we had sustained volume on that second 5-minute candle, 935 to 940, and that 940 candle didn't want to do anything. You were talking about the lower highs on the 1. And when that new 5-minute opened, you could kind of see the candle push hard and reject like really quickly. So I got back in another short, partial low of London session. And I mean, I'm well green for the day right now. Break even on the runner. So 1 of 2 and green. What I'm doing is I'm testing myself to the specs of the prop firms in the sim before I even go to do the prop firm challenge, just to make sure, it's not about huge base hitters to get through the challenge. Once you're out of the challenge, you can do whatever you want. But yesterday, I think I made about $600, nothing crazy. So kind of stay within that 50% of your net P&L thing for 5 days, see how that works out.
Nice. Good job, man. Good job. Reading momentum for that entry on the 5-minute. That's pretty cool. Managing your risk as well. And knowing what you're doing in the bigger picture. There you go. Not getting lost in the noise. There's a lot of good stuff going on in there. Thanks for sharing that. And congrats, man. Keep it up. There's lots and lots of abundance here. Lots of money to be made, guys. Just keep your head on your shoulders. Very, very important. Good stuff. Be sure to share some of those screenshots with us, Brian. Love to see them. They're always encouraging, always inspirational to see good stuff work out. All right, so that whole indecision candle and short situation would have worked. Again, that strategy that I told you that I keep exploring, not convinced yet today, so far would have been excellent. I would have put the target down there most likely. And then the next one would be in this chop zone. But if at the first one by now, the stop would be above the indecision candle, so it has survived this whole opening chop. And it looks like you're on the way down. It'll probably mess around here because that's what it did the last time it was here. Just look to the left. So since it's going down, reverse ABCD, short makes sense. Unless it just pushes back up, just turns into a big bullish hammer, and that's when I'll go long. But that's a little later, perhaps. Cool. All right, guys, what, 5 or 6 minutes or so, and then I got to get into another call. What else is on your minds? Anyone got anything you'd like to discuss? Today's the last trading day for me that I'll come here and do these sessions, and then I'll come back in the new year. Of course, I'll pop in here once in a while if I see you guys in the chat rooms. Always get to come and say hi, but I'm going to take my mind off trading. That's the whole purpose, to be able to step back and get perspective and reevaluate and do the usual thing into the quarter. And like I said, though, if I see a decent setup, I'll put on something small on the phone, most likely. I don't intend on turning on the whole trading setup. And we have Christmas in a week anyway. Next week's probably gonna, I don't know, could be fun, could be nothing. I have no idea. But we are getting into Christmas, right? The whole sentiment is it's holiday season. It's not time to stay focused and risk money. It's time to overeat and get fat and all that stuff, right? It's the season for that. It's the one they're doing here. Yeah, look at that reverse ABCD pattern on the 1 minute. If you like fractal patterns, that's what you got here. We were just talking about it. That's the area for the consolidation and go, and it did that here.
We're
Anyways,
testing midline Asia right now. Sorry to interrupt you.
alrighty, yeah, cool, man, all good. Yes, right about there. Yeah. So again, this is very telling. I want to share this with you guys. I don't think I've shared this often enough. Is when I'm looking for a setup. Let's say, yeah, today I was more interested in the long than anything else. So the clues I'm looking for are on the opposite side of the candle. Even though I'm thinking about longs, but I'm looking at the bottom of the candles. I'm looking at, are these buyers stepping up higher lows? Right, that's the clue. And then with the higher lows, if we're getting a serious breakout, that would be my conviction to get in. And then even then, I most of the time nowadays I wait, let it break out, retest, and then I'm really in with some serious size. So I'm waiting for all those confirmations. What happened today is more than the higher lows. At first, the higher lows were really in charge until these lower highs were happening until this big one happened, pushed right into the middle of that opening range. Then again, a reverse hammer, so the sellers stepping lower, and then a big push right into the low, and beyond that, boom. So you before it did the breakout, you can anticipate it's looking good. Like the sellers are taking over. You can see the change of behavior. We had these higher lows, but then the lower highs happened much faster, very aggressively than these buyers. Sellers came in more aggressive than buyers. Very simple. And the candlesticks have been telling you that. You can find the same information on the tape if you like to read such things and stress yourself out. I don't like to. I just find it on these candlestick charts. So that would have set you up pretty neat for this breakout. Again, if I was interested in the short, personally, I still wouldn't take it. If I was interested in the short, firstly, the interest would come from a 30-minute chart, some sort of downtrend setup. And then I'd see all this and let it break out, then come and retest. And once it confirms a retest, the sellers are still there, stepping lower. I would enter probably in this area with a massive size and then go. So if I was interested today, I would not have even gotten involved, even if I was interested in the short, just because the retest is really something that I like to see. And my win rate's much higher when I do the retest stuff. But anyways, there you go. So when it comes to breakouts, one thing that I've always really appreciated is that firstly, breakouts happen after consolidations, obviously. And then the quality of the breakout is dependent on the quality of the consolidation. So here we go, the breakout to the downside, lower highs, and they were happening quick. You can see the behavior change. You can see when the sellers actually got out of bed and decided to show up, right about there. It's the quality of the consolidation that leads to a quality breakout. So very important stuff. A lot of times, this is what keeps me out of the market. 90% of trading is staying away from the market, right? Good fun. At least we have some good price action to look at today, rather than all the ugly stuff we've had recently.
Avi, do you prefer to switch to a 1-minute chart for precise entries and exits while looking at a larger time frame? Do you juggle the two? Or?
Yeah, well, I don't like to use the word juggle, but I'm looking for setups on the 30-minute. That's the big one I like. And then I want to also see a setup on a 1-minute, and then confirmation of the setup on the 1-minute, and then I'll put on the size. And then the target will be the levels on the bigger picture, the 30-minute. So that's about it. But after I enter the 1-minute, I still like to watch the 1-minute just for a little bit to be able to trail it a little bit, at least until the point where the stop is at risk-free around the break-even area. And that's when you go to the hot tub.
Hey, one other question. You talk about a retest. So once it breaks out, if I'm looking at a 5-minute chart, I mean, what's your comfort zone for a retest? Are you looking for a retest once it breaks out within a short time frame, say 15 minutes? Are you looking for a little bit longer, like 30 plus minutes, for it to kind of ramp up, come back down?
Yeah.
Where do you find the most conviction in a retest?
Depends on the speed of the market. At the open, it's pretty quick. Within a few minutes, you get a retest typically. But later in the day, I've waited 30 minutes at times for retests. It all depends on the pace of the market. I don't use time as one of my categories. It's levels, price action. And if it takes its time to get there, okay, it takes its time. And then when it gets there, I'll look at it. Is it retesting? Is it still a retest, or did it really do a full genuine move? And now it's no longer a retest, it's a reversal, which is what we were talking about with the meta earlier when Nasser brought that up. So it's not so much a time thing. I'm focused in on price. Price is important. Let me see if I can find a good retest somewhere. I don't see much. This was a bit of an ascending wedge. Not much here. Oh, here we go. Let's zoom in here. We can do this, and I gotta go. Another call starting now. Here we go. So you have this consolidation area. Then it did the breakout right here. This is your breakout, and you can see the breakouts now, like we say, are momentum situations. So it goes with momentum. It breaks that support. Okay, so it should overshoot. Should overshoot the support. Momentum carries it a certain distance, not a massive move, but a little distance. Then it comes right back to the breakout area. This is the area you can see where it pushed back into. And this all happened in, what, 10 minutes or so? And then how do you qualify that the retest is complete? Well, in this case, since I'm looking at a bearish move, I'm looking at it has to print a genuinely bearish candle where the low and the close are in the same place. And its price has gone from up to down, ideally with a wick. And this is perfect right here. This candle, absolutely bearish. Once I see this print, then the entry criteria for me is a low from that, a new low from that bear candle, which happened in the next minute. Right there would be the entry, the stop above the bear candle that I identified. And then it goes in your favor. Once it breaks that low, which was the breakout low, that's when I'd most likely bring the stop in a break even. And then I go to the hot tub. In another example right here, this is very, very telling. You see the breakout happened on the downside. Before it happened, you can already anticipate it's likely to be a good one because look at the quality of the consolidation here. The lower highs, the sellers taking over. And sure enough, they took over to a good little momentum breakout and a good little retest. And then once you get the retest, you're into it. That's a good one going down into previous support zones. That would be a target area right about there. So there you go. That's how I like to look at these things. Makes life easy, simple. Oh man, what happened to these charts? There we go. All right, guys, cool. So this has been fun. I'm gonna go, and yeah, feel free to use this room to trade, as well as we have all the Discord rooms. I don't intend to do any more of these live trading sessions until the new year. I'm basically ready to step away from trading now, and but I'll see you guys in here. I'll come in and come and say hi, and we can talk trading, talk charts. No big deal. Hope you've had a good time. Yeah, Dan, you got a question?
No question. Just want to wish you and everybody in the room Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays, whatever flavor you are. It's been a good year with you, Evie. Thank you very much.
Sure. Thank you, Dan. Thank you very much, man. It's been good having you in here. It's been awesome. So thanks a lot, guys. Yeah, nothing wrong with the markets. So just because I'm stepping away doesn't mean the market's not tradable. There's something wrong with me. That's why I got to step away. All right. So make sure you trade, have fun, be good, stick together, trade together. Support system is very important. And of course, like I said, if I see you guys online, I'll come and say hello. It'll all be good fun, and we'll have a little Christmas party maybe next week. Huh? Take care, guys. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Avi. Thanks.
Take care, Avi.